All right, the next thing that we are going to want to do is actually go in and set up our camera. We're going to access the menu by pressing the three lines right here. Some people call those hamburger menus. I'm going to hit that and I'm going to go here, and you can't see it because it's overexposed, but when I click off of it, you can tell that this says record. The second one here is monitor, audio, setup, presets, and LUTs. Now, we don't use much in presets or LUTs. But right now we're going to start in the record section, and we're going to do that here on the very first page. As you can see, we have a choice between choosing between the Blackmagic RAW format or the Apple ProRes format. Hopefully when you get your camera, it's going to be set to ProRes 422. If not, and if you for any reason have to go in and reset the camera, then it'll show up as Blackmagic RAW. What we are going to do though is we're going to set it to ProRes. We're going to set it to 422. And then you've got several different options. You've got 4K. This is going to be more of a cinematic look. I'll click on that and then let you see. Whoop, fat fingered that one. You'll see that there's actually black bars at the top and the bottom of that. If I switch it here over to Ultra HD, now when I click on this, you can see that there are no black bars at the top and the bottom. That format's more like a 16:9, which is what you're used to when you record in 1080. So if I go back in here and then hit 1080, that's HD 1920 by 1080. When I take this, you can see it does the full screen as well. We don't have to worry about the black bars. I'll hop back to the very first one so you can see the black bars at the top and the bottom there. But I'm going to shoot HD, and the reason is the Blackmagic footage is just incredibly crisp. It looks very good, and it has a lot of data in it. So because of that, it takes up a lot of space. So in order to save space, we're just going to shoot at 1080. Maybe one day we can graduate to 4K, but honestly, nobody's watching us in 4K anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's look at some other menu options. Here, still under the record menu, you can see arrows on either side of that. And if you see one of those arrows, you can just jump over to the next menu. That's going to bring up for us, we have the video menu, the extended video, and the film menu. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on film just so you'll see what that looks like. This is an example of what film looks like. I'm going to switch to video, and you can see that it changed definitely. And then extended video. Again, we can hop back in there. All right? If I click on film, this is film. If I click on extended video, this is extended video. And then if I click on video, this is video. Now, it's hard to tell if you're not cycling between those. So it's video, extended, and film. And film is going to be more of a washed out kind of look. It doesn't look that washed out when it's going through the Blackmagic switcher. But if you were actually looking at that on the screen, you can tell a big difference between this. Oh, keep pressing the button twice. Anyway, between this and looking at it as film. So go back to this, and now let's look back at our menu. I'm just gonna put it on to extended video. That works well for us, so I've got that. And then we've got some other choices here. One of these is going to be the project frame rate. If you are wanting to replicate film, you're going to want to record at 23.98 frames per second. That's not what I am trying to do. I'm actually trying, oh, there's my head. I'm trying to make this work with a switcher for live production purposes. And our live productions are generally going to be at 29.97. I could do it at 59.94, which, let's see, that's a 60 frame per second. But if I do that, you'll notice that the image is considerably darker. That's at 59.94. And then when I go back down to 29.97, it is definitely brighter. The frame rate just means that you have to have more light. The higher the frame rate, the more light is required to get a quality image. That's why really expensive slow motion cameras that shoot thousands of frames per second, they have to have a ton of light in order for those to look good. As you can see right here, it is set to record to the CFast card. Again, we don't have that, so I'm going to make sure it's on the SD card. And then we're going to go ahead and switch over to some other settings. I'm going to go over one more. You can see we have a time-lapse option, detail sharpening, and record LUT to the clip. Now, if you don't know, a LUT is a look that you can take for a specific thing and put that on top of your video and change the color grading of it. Whereas if you record LUT to clip, that is going to burn that in and you won't be able to change it. So the best thing to do when using a LUT on one of these is to use it just to see what it looks like, but don't actually attach it to the image. So then when you go to edit, you can then put the LUT on top of it there. That's going to be everything that we really need to go over inside of this menu. So I'm going to go back to the main thing here. And again, even though you can't see it, this actually says record. And I'm good with where we are with this, and that will be the end of this section.